The Crew 2 Hawaii expansion. Let's take a look at this fan-made proposal. Yes, welcome back to the channel, fellas. Now, as you guys know, I've been away for around about 6 or 7 weeks on a hiatus from YouTube and pretty much most of social media as I was recovering from a little bit of sickness. Huge thank you for all the messages of support and whatnot. Pleased to say that I'm fit and ready to go again. Now, during that time, I was actually hit up by one of my viewers and long-time players of the crew, Filipe1020. We had a conversation in the DMs and he went on to explain how he had this idea for having an expansion for the Crew 2, an expansion pack which added a new territory. And as the thumbnail, the title and the intro of this video suggests, his location of choice is Hawaii, with the full title being the Hawaii Storm Expansion. So obviously focusing on the turbulent weather out there. Now, his handwritten concept is actually fairly short, easy to digest, and he's already shared it with the Reddit community before hitting me up and asking me to share it with you guys on YouTube. Now, before I go into this, I just want to put the disclaimer out. This was all designed by Filipe himself. Obviously, he's a fan of the franchise and he's obviously put a lot of thought and effort into this written document, so just bear that in mind. Right, so let's go through it. He goes on to say, one thing that the Crew 2 definitely should benefit from is by having map expansions in the near future to keep the game fresh and fun. My idea here is that we could visit the state of Hawaii, which could have a lot of opportunities for excellent ideas in a racing game like this one. So what Filipe has done here is he's actually gone and split this up into 3 very small sections. To begin with, the setting. Hawaii is known for its beautiful tropical landscape, blue sea, long stretches of land, varied foliage and a culture of its own. The idea is that we'll be able to explore the most iconic locations, such as first and foremost the beach, which has long stretches of sand, perfect to fit a stunt arena somewhere with loops and half pipes. The city, like Honolulu for example, which gives the opportunity for street races, drift, drag and hypercar disciplines. They could all be done in this area. We've also got the rainforest, the dangerous rainforest of Hawaii, rich with nature, perfect for rallycross and rally raid events. And we've also got the coast, the iconic coastline of Hawaii with its steep and dangerous pointy mountains. Boat and jet sprint races could be done next to it. We've got the rivers. Speaking of jet sprint, Hawaii has a rich amount of long rivers and other smaller water sections that could work perfectly for them. And finally, what would Hawaii be without the notorious volcanoes? This can't be forgotten. They don't have to be active at the point of flowing, of course. Personally, I think they should be, but you can fly over them and pass through the smoke. Right, moving on to the next segment, activities. Filipe says being a tropical powerhouse, Hawaii could be a perfect location for off-road and freestyle events to be the main attraction. Of course, since the state itself has a city of its own, it can have tarmac-based races in there too for the street racing enthusiasts like I showed above. A stunt arena for monster trucks could be set in one of the beaches or next to one. The city could have a circuit and drift area. The forest, coast and other more nature-based areas could be where the rallycross and rally raid events take place. And having rivers and other water sections would work perfectly for jet sprints and boat racing. So it's basically tying together everything that he illustrated in the first section there. As I said, what I'm liking here is that it's very well thought out. Now, in the third and final chapter of Senor Filipe's Crew 2 expansion proposal, he talks about the introduction of a new discipline, and it's actually a vehicle coincidentally I've directly asked Fergus to put into the Crew 2 within about 2 weeks of it being launched. We're talking jet skis. An expansion would go empty-handed without a new discipline, right? So in this case, jet skis are a must-have, he says. Jet skis are a perfect choice when it comes to tropical locations because they're fast and incredibly agile on the water, and just like the bikes, they're light, so you can do a flip mid-air after a jump. With that, it could serve for both stunt-based events with ramps on the water, perform flips, and races to do against other riders. It would be the perfect vehicle for this type of environment in the Crew 2. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the name upon which Filipe has chosen to go with this expansion idea is Hawaii Storm. And with that, what he wants to do is introduce a new weather option that could happen in the game, obviously known as the thunderstorm. Strong winds, a lot of rain, and thunder strikes in the background. tropical areas are known for having long thunder strikes in the summer, thus making this a viable option given the location. And that in a nutshell is pretty much it. Now, off the rip, my initial impression was this is pretty damn good. I like this idea. I like the way in which it fits with the existing game mechanic. He hasn't just said to himself, right, I want to do Hawaii or I want to pick any random location. He's actually looked at a location, looked at the terrain, looked at the elements of that location and picked various different components that can facilitate all the existing types of vehicles within the game already. It shows that he thought about this from the ground up. It makes it more viable, more credible, and I don't see Ivory Tower having any problems with implementing this type of idea. I like the idea of jet skis, as I mentioned earlier on, but I especially like the idea of the volcanoes. Can you imagine some sort of canyon race down a volcano, or alternatively some sort of air-based activity flying over a volcano with thunder and lightning just hammering at your propellers and your wings? So after enjoyably reading through Filipe's concept, I decided to scroll down and take a look at the Reddit comments and see what other people's thoughts were towards this idea, and it was a mixed bag. Mainly positive though. We got D2M Gaming who says, well done, got me sold on it at least. I could imagine a boat race all around an island, some jet sprints in and out of aircraft carriers, a few rally raids straight down the mountain. Then we've also got Jabberpocky who says, good proposal. If memory serves, Test Drive Unlimited did this in the PS3 era. Yes, they did, but it was more the crew, pre-calling all units. Now, I'm not going to read out all of the comments because I'm going to post the link to the Reddit thread in the description box for you guys to read yourself, but just for the purpose of providing a balanced viewpoint, I'm just going to touch on one or two objections. Now we've got Kuza or Kaza, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, sorry if I got it wrong, but he says, I disagree with Hawaii mainly because it's already been done in Test Drive Unlimited. I'd rather see an expansion to Canada and Mexico. It doesn't have to be a full countryside expansion on the countries in full, but some cities like Ottawa, Vancouver, Toronto, Tijuana, I don't know if I pronounced that right, is it Tijuana or Tijuana? Let me know in the comments. La Paz. When I come to think about it, why not Puerto Rico? That's a US territory. It is indeed, I think. And then we've got Joel K111 who says, whoa now. Let's finish the current game before we add on to it. It sounds like a great idea, but the Crew 2 needs a lot of work before it's ready for an expansion. And to be quite honest with you, I fully wholeheartedly agree with this. You see, the biggest problem with this expansion is not the actual expansion itself, it's what Ivory Tower will do with it, or in some cases maybe what they won't do with it. You see, with the Crew 2, there are too many problems with it for me to list in this video, so I'm not going to. But one of the biggest issues I and many of you guys have with it is that it gets pretty boring once you've completed the racing families you want to complete and once you've maxed out the cars you want to max out. There isn't any proper end game. We're still waiting for multiplayer, which to be fair we knew was going to be delayed and is coming in December, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not here unfortunately, and there's too big of a gap between the game being launched and them launching the multiplayer for them to keep the plates spinning and keeping the game warm and alive. And probably my personal biggest gripe, the fact that I felt that each event just didn't have enough races to fulfill my satisfaction when going into those events. If they spend all this time rendering a beautiful Hawaii map, putting all these different territories in, making all these different weather conditions, introducing a new type of vehicle, but still don't fulfill that portion of land, that new sandbox if you want to call it that, with enough variety, enough content and enough events to keep the area alive, it's gonna be pointless. We're gonna be back to where we were or to where we are right now. Now again, I'd just like to stress, this is no criticism whatsoever towards the idea of a Hawaii expansion. This concept, I like it a lot and I would like to see it come to life. But my biggest worry is that it could end up going down. In fact, I'll give you an example. Forza Horizon 3, I believe it was the Blizzard Mountain if I'm not mistaken. Was it a Blizzard Mountain expansion? That wasn't too dissimilar from this idea. You basically had a new area of the map with a new type of weather, a new surface type, a whole load of different locations, new types of vehicles, new event types, and a whole different aura, atmosphere and feel to it from the regular map. Now, when that expansion was released, everybody was hyped. We all played it, we all jumped on it, we all got excited, we all played it non-stop for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe some of us played it for a month. But after that, it died down to the point where I dare say most people even forgot they even had it as an expansion, as people just defaulted and returned back to playing the regular map. It gathered dust. It was a good idea in concept, but the problem was the development team didn't take it to the next level. They didn't do enough with it. And I guess that's where my biggest reservations are. In principle, in concept, in theory, this is a beautiful idea. The problem is that once the idea is handed over to the developers and whoever it is that's going to be putting this together, can they optimize it? Can they make the best out of it? And can they ensure that it's something that will have longevity? Because Filipe's done his part. He's giving you the blueprints. Ivory Tower, if you see this and you're inspired by it, just make sure that it's not a wasted opportunity. But more importantly, let's focus on fixing all the issues we've got with the Crew 2 before even expanding anything. And that just about brings us to the end of this video. So once again, a huge thank you to Filipe. Thank you very much, sir. Shouts out to you. Great concept. In the comment section below, let me know what your thoughts are on his proposal. Do you like Hawaii as a location? How can it be improved? What location would you like to see added and why? Jot all of that down in the comments. I'm pretty certain Ivory Tower themselves will be looking at it as they always do. And that's just about it. So I will see you guys when the next video comes out. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Peace.